It is another Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I am Dan.
I'm Tom.
Samantha, our producer, is here, and she's been setting this up and emailing all morning, so let's not waste any time, my friend.
Yep, he's going to be at Hard Rock Live December 10th. You can get your tickets at hardrock.com. On the line with us right now, Lewis Black. How you doing, Lewis?
Every day gets more wonderful, don't you think? you woke up today and you thought, boy, yesterday was great, and then you woke up today and went, oh, no, it's greater, and tomorrow it'll be the greatest. It's just extraordinary how well we're doing. You wake up, you see the big rainbow out there, and know that if you walk to the end of it, you're going to find that pot of gold.
Lewis, I have to ask you, because you've been doing The Daily Show and I had to look this up to believe it, since its inception for...
He is The Daily Show, and to some folks.
26 years, and since it started with Craig Kilborn, and, of course, Jon Stewart and Trevor Noah, who just announced that he's retiring from The Daily Show. But I have to ask you, first, how did that start, and how did it last so long? Did they just keep asking you to do it, or were you involved in the longevity of this?
It was it got started because I was working clubs in New York City, and I was known in the clubs, and I had a ton of material, and I knew Liz Winstead, who was the creative mind behind it, and one of the producers was Hank Gallo, who was also knew my work really well, and they just gave me a shot. And when I started doing it originally, I was just improvising, sitting at a desk, and we had no audience. And I would do it, and then they'd come up and say, try this again, and we'll change this and that. And the first 4 or 5 times, I just improv. Wow. And then we got an audience, so I started to write it out, and then it evolved into Back in Black. And the longevity had to do with the fact that I'm so charismatic. People just can't get enough of me.
Well, but you are to a point, and I'm so glad you answered that. One of the questions I wrote down to follow up what Tom said was I wondered how much of that, if in the middle of it you decided to, I don't know, you came up with a better idea, and you're like, I'm going to go this way. So I had no idea if it was scripted, if it was all just right off your top of your head, how you were doing it. But to know that you were improvising it, is that something that you still enjoy doing, or is the process different now? Do you write it down? Do you kind of...
Now the process, now they write it. So as it evolved, it became more about them writing it, because there were a couple of there were a couple of producers under Jon Stewart who didn't think I was funny enough.
Wow.
And didn't quite get it.
They?
So they decided to start writing it.
Oh, my God.
Which was fine. Because at first I was really irritated by it, and then I thought, okay, you want to do this? Then I got less work to do.
True,
what am I
true.
doing?
Yeah.
That's exactly like how my business partner, Tom, he kind of looks at things a little more logical than I do. I'm a bit more emotional, and I think that's a good way of looking at it.
Well, Lewis, that brings up my next question, because we were listening to your podcast, your rant cast, and you'll often you'll basically read your listeners' rants on your podcast, and you do a brilliant marketing thing where you'll pick a listener from a city that you're going to be at, and then choose that listener's rant as a way to market your next show. But you have the ability to rant other people's thoughts, and when I see you do it, I'm like,
that's like magic, man.
Does it come natural? Does it come naturally for you, because it comes off so well and so passionate? Is that second nature to you? You're just able to read someone else's rant and get into the mindset of them and make it your own.
It's like character acting.
Well, it is. And where did I? And I just answered the question in part, because I learned it at The Daily Show when they decided they were going to write stuff. And then they were writing stuff. Writing in my voice is not difficult, okay? It's like I call it writing for a big barking dog. It's like, okay, that's my basic. And so they started writing the stuff, and it wasn't in my voice, so I had to kind of make it sound like I'd written it. and I learned because it became acting, which I had a pretty good idea of because I came out of theater.
Yeah.
So it was so it became, and then so when during the pandemic I started to realize that that was when the Rantcast started, because the one thing that could keep me in touch with stand-up, because I wasn't doing that Zoom stuff.
Right.
No, ain't happening. No, I'm not on Hollywood Squares. Don't be stupid. This is absurd. So what I did was the one thing I knew that I could do is I didn't need an audience to know how to make a rant work, or how to make it funny, or if it was serious, how to make it work. I'd become really good at that.
Yeah, it definitely shows. I mean, and it seems like effortless when we were watching it today, and it was fun. It was fun to see you take on other people's kind of gripes and then maybe put a little more clay on there, you know?
Well, thank you. Yeah, no, I get a big kick out of it. And what was really, I mean, what evolved actually and it will go back to this again once we start rolling again more and more and doing more shows, is there was a point just before we went into the shutdown where 90% of what was being written was spectacular. But they were really writing some, and that's why I started getting those rants out there, because they were so well written. And now the problem is everybody feels like they've got to explain everything because they've been locked up for so long, that what you've got now is kind of go, can you edit this? Don't make me edit these things, guys. You just can't. The guy goes, well, I know this is going to be a little long, and you go, it's 25 minutes. We can't do this. You're insane.
Yeah. And so, Louis, I'm curious to, like, with them, the Daily Show and how long it's been running and how many, different hosts, and like with Trevor announcing his retirement or leaving the show. And then I'm guessing I heard on your podcast, you're like, why don't they ask me to do it?
You know what? I agree. Is that, how much of that was a bid and how much of that is, or is it no bid? Is that just you being you, and is that?
Well, I mean, I think all I did was go in, and I've said it. But I said, look, I've been on this show the longest. I didn't get an Emmy, okay? So I didn't get an Emmy from doing this forever. So, and all sorts of the Emmys were flying our way. You could just, as I would have paid for it,
Right.
So, I mean, it was, and I'd written stuff, I'd done enough, I thought, look, after 25 years, put me behind the desk for one show, all right? Then we'll call it even.
Yeah, I can see that.
I've been there forever, and I helped get you off the ground, and it's been really fun, and I loved working with everybody there, and I really love the writers there. I think that's the key to that show, were those writers. I mean, John did a great job, and Trevor did a great job, but the real key to it is the writers themselves.
So, Louis, I'm curious with how they came to you with the role of Anger from Inside Out, because my boys loved that movie when it came out, and when I saw you were playing that role, I was like, of course, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if when they were writing it, they were like, well, Louis Black has to play this. Like, I wonder if there was any other
Or
person.
did they write it for you? Was there any discussion of that?
No, from what they've told me, and from what I've gathered, I was the first one pitched. So it was, imagine there are these emotions. Imagine if there was the emotion of anger, and it was done by Louis Black. So I was really like in their mind from the beginning.
That's
at least
that
from
is
what they told me.
Yeah, that is too cool.
And that was great.
It makes perfect sense. I mean, like, it seemed like when the inception of this movie, when they sat down and were like, all right, here's the plot, I feel like right after, like, in that moment, they were like, okay, here's the emotions. I'm like, well, we're going to ask Louis Black to play Anger. Like, it makes sense that they had that from the beginning. And so when you do that,
we're
like,
doing it again.
oh, really?
Yeah, there's an Inside Out 2 that's coming.
Ah, fantastic.
Behind the scenes, Louis, like how long does that take you to, like, what's the commitment?
That's a lot of dialogue, isn't it?
Are we like days in the recording studio?
No, here's to give you. It takes them from the moment they decide to do the animation till when it's done is 5 years.
Wow.
But a lot of that is about rewriting, and then they have to redo the visual, and so there's all of that that goes into it. And I'm maybe 6, 7, 8, 9 days over the 5 years.
Is that when you have?
No, I just spent. I shot it. I did the voiceover for the first run of the thing a couple of months ago, and though that was really a lot of fun, and I think it's going to be. It looks like it's going to be really good. But I was in there. You got to realize I was in there 4 hours and then came back 2 hours the next day. I was yelling for 4 straight hours.
Yeah.
Do you ever lose your voice? I mean, is there like some sort of preparation
regiment that you use?
Like daily regiment with your voice, Louis?
No, I'm pretty good with my voice, but I have to say I've been working, and because I was off for so long, and you can't really wander around the house screaming every day.
Yeah.
So it was because they'll just come, your neighbors will go, okay, that's it, you have to go now. But I did have, what happened was I'd worked 4 days straight and then had to go do this, do the anger voice, and that kind of has made it. Since then, I've had kind of a cough that's going away, but but that's been the result. It's more I now sound more phlegmy. And what a delightful way in the interview. What was the most exciting part of the interview? When he said the word phlegmy.
Well, Louis, this is my last question, I promise. But you've done some brilliant marketing moves in your career.
Well, you mentioned one earlier about him reading the other people's rants in the cities he's going to. I mean, I think that's
smart.
Yeah,
that's brilliant.
But other, like, I saw you, like, on the Weather Channel, and I saw you promote your book, and you were doing, like, Weather Channel hits. And I thought it was interesting because I've never seen the Weather Channel do this like before or after you doing it. And I have to imagine they have such a gigantic cable audience across the nation that it's such huge exposure and promotion for you.
And it's got eyes, man.
And when I saw that, I was like, this is brilliant because there's so many people watching this, and to get your name out, to promote your book, and what, like, I just thought it was a brilliant marketing move for you, Louis.
Yeah, how did that come about?
Because at some point, I was doing weather jokes. Because the idea was always to me, if I'm yelling and screaming about the weather, and I'm giving that as much, then I'm putting that much energy into yelling about the weather, and then I'm yelling about politics, but I'm screaming about weather in the same way. It makes them all. It takes the nonsense out of yelling about politics.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I'm yelling about weather, you schmucks. It's the same thing as clouds are the same thing as Democrats and Republicans, you idiots.
Yeah.
Bad weather reporting. And then and also it was the whole idea of weather. You're in. What's the best job in the world? The guy and the weatherman in San Diego. Those were the kind of jokes I did. What's it going to be like today? Nice. Back to you. I did those kind of goofy jokes, and I yelled about Al Roker. I
Tom has a
5
history.
minutes on Al Roker.
It's Louis. At this point in time, you've been doing this for so long. Could you improv and complain about anything with any topic? If someone gave it to you, you could. Could you do 10 minutes a 10-minute rant on basically anything?
Pretty much, I could do a 3-minute rant on anything. 10 minutes, I'm going to take a nap at 7.
So,
there's certain things I could go for 10 minutes. There's other things. I'm not going to yell about squirrels for more than 3.
Yeah, gotcha.
You know what? That makes sense. That's a good rule for squirrels.
Do you think you could be stumped? Like someone give you?
I don't think you can.
Like, have you ever even thought in your mind like, oh, it'd be hard to rant for over a minute about like
Puppies.
Nah,
You can rail on puppies.
Yeah.
I feel like. I think it can be. I think that is the challenge. You can do 3 minutes on anything.
I think I could do pretty much anything, I think. You know, of course, I say that, and then there'll be 25 people be sending me stuff. I'm not going to talk about, you know, are you going to yell about? No, I could yell about sneakers, too. I don't like going into sneaker stores anymore. It's like, how many colors? What is the matter with you people? How many colors do you need to wear on your feet? What about just a comfortable shoe that works and feels like, I mean, it just amazes me.
Yeah, no,
It's become $1 billion business.
So, Louis, you're rounding out the end of your tour, and
with us. Yeah, he's coming to Florida.
yeah, and
Yes.
and then you're off the rails tour, and December 10th at Hard Rock Live
Our
in
good
Orlando.
friends over at Hard Rock. We love that place, and we know he's been there before, and he'll crush it. And snag your tickets.
But what happens after the tour, Louis? Like after this tour, like how long do you take a break before you're off again? I'm just curious about that.
Oh yeah, no, I take like a month. It'll be like a month off. I'm going to probably work New Year's Eve. There's a place that I worked in the city for a number of years that I ran it as a small theater, and then did stand up there too. And I'll probably do New Year's there, and
Awesome.
and then so I'm off like the 12th, and then I'll be back. Do that. I'll have that time off, and then. Like the 20th or something, I start up again out in Santa Cruz.
Wow. God, man, the
in
grind.
California.
How do you still have it in you with the grind of getting back? I mean, I
we're
know
in
you
our
get,
40s, and we're about to hang it up, man. I'm done with this crap. God damn.
yeah, we're not traveling as much.
Yeah, no, I find that methadone really helps. You know, a good meth ball really can keep you going. I didn't think at my age, when you got over 70, that the meth would still work, but woo, it's really doing the job.
Yeah, and that was a convincing woo.
Meth always works.
Yeah. Tom's on it now. He's got Adderall, sir. So yeah, we're there. We're there.
Again, get your tickets at hardrock.com. He's going to be there December 10th. Louis Black, thanks so much for talking to us.
It's always an honor, and thank you for.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much, man. We'll see you when you come to Orlando, okay?
Please do, and then let folks know. I just want to let them know to you go to louisblack.com, and if you got a rant about Orlando or anything in Florida or anything, anything. But there's somebody. People rant about. My favorite is about. A guy opens a jar of what he thinks is supposed to be. Either smooth or chunky peanut butter, and it's not the chunky, it's smooth, and he goes nuts. 5 minutes of yelling about. You can yell about pickles. I don't care. Yell about sand dabs.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Well, Louis.
So whatever you got to say.
Yeah, and then send Louis the email.
Yeah, we have the website up right now, so go to louisblack.com, and we'll see you on the 10th. All right, man.
You got. I really appreciate the time, guys.
Thanks so much,
you.
Louis. We appreciate it, man. We'll talk soon. That is Louis Black live from the road somewhere. I didn't even ask. We should have asked where he was at. What a nice man. He's always so no nonsense, and he's always he'll answer anything. And those are the type of people I like the most.
Doing it for 50 years.
Yeah, and doing it well.
Yeah, right.
I mean,
And he's in his 70s.
Look, I've been doing radio for 25. I wouldn't say I've been doing it well. For all of that time.
You look at, I was reading his bio, and he pivoted to doing only stand up and stuff in his 40s, when he hit 40, and it's crazy to think that you basically have a career trajectory change at 40 years old.
What are you going to pivot to? You just turned 40.
Yeah.
Or is this what you're doing?
I don't know. I thought this age, I was like, well, you're set in stone. You're riding it out till you die.
I don't feel like that.
Because you
this
look
is shaky.
Well, you look around the
I
corner.
feel like I'm playing Fall Guys on Xbox, man. This is it's crazy.
And you think to yourself, like,
don't bring it up.
Louis Black
I could
is,
rant about Fall Guys.
he's in his 70s, but he's
We
like,
should all write a rant, right?
It's a
so that we
diff-
could be on Lewis's Black's rant cast.
Here's what I think writing is proven. Okay, he's 72. Writing every day, getting out a physical pen and a pencil or typing, whatever. It's got to be you can't just do it in your mind. I'm saying you got to write. I think doing that every single day probably keeps you young.
Yeah.
Well,
It's forcing your brain to go through complex.
That's why Tom looks so young.
Micro.
He rewrites all my notes on a separate sheet
Well,
of paper.
no, I mean, but there is some method to, like, we were talking about that before we even had Louis Black on. Sam's like, well, why are you writing all the things down? And you do the old technique that I used to do when I was trying to memorize stuff. You write it down so you can have it in your skull. You know, like you write it down as a way of retention. I used to do that all the time. That was my trick for memorization. It's kind of like Bart Simpson. You know, I'd write it down, reread it, and then boom, it's in there. It's sealed.
I'll show
your notes.
Oh, look at this manifesto.
I'll show
it's kind of
Oh, my
interesting.
God.
the difference between Sam's notes and the exact
notes
same
are
thing.
horrible.
How can you even read that?
Well, I can't.
Oh, okay.
I look down and I remember what I wrote, but I can't read what I wrote.
Mm-hmm.
That's how crazy I am.
Well, no,
I
then
have
your
to-
mind is using little calculations of knowing what you wrote. You're reading it, but not reading it.
Yeah.
You're just
it's
reading.
all over.
You're remembering it. I invented that. Remembering.
And all that is from the damn years of trying to write bits and then just writing.
Oh, that was the question we wanted to ask that we didn't ask. The one that I don't think I jotted it down either, about like how long it takes.
Well, he mentioned that they started writing it at one point.
that's true.
So it's so he just show up and then read their.
Who is this? Is that
rant.
Louis Black?
I don't know who that is. No,
is
it's not Lewis.
Who is this?
Line 1.
Oh, God.
Oh, hold on.
Hello, this is Tom and Dan. This is Dan speaking. How may I help you?
Hello?
Yeah. Hi. What do you need?
I was going to leave a message.
Oh,
he doesn't want to talk to us
Hold
live.
on.
Hold on. Is this
We're
BDM
live.
Mike? Is this BDM Mike?
No.
No, this is not BDM Mike.
Okay, because I was going to chastise you for calling too much. Don't be nervous. Who is this? You can say who it is without hanging up.
Oh, I was just calling in response to Tom's story about the doo-doo on the BDM show for this week.
You have a doo-doo phone call.
Okay.
You know what?
Well, go ahead. I'm right
Tom's
here.
We'll
right
answer you
here.
live.
So
Yeah,
put
yeah.
it to him. Give it to
All
him
right.
straight.
Yeah.
Give it to him straight.
let's
Don't
talk
be
about it.
nervous. I'm on your side.
No, I just I thought it was a great story, and it reminded me of a story back when I was in college in about 2002. So I was working at the library there on campus, and after 5 o'clock, all of the full-time workers would go home, and then it was just like security students that were working. So I was working one night, and this lady came down to the front desk and said, "There's a problem with the women's bathroom on the 3rd floor. You need to go check it out." So whatever, didn't think too much about it.
Oh, by the way,
Walked up in there.
Hold on 1 second. Hold on.
Okay, there's only one problem.
Yeah,
It
it's
could
you.
be-
It's you.
No. But I'm saying like that if someone's like, hey,
No,
there's a
women
problem
can
in the
have
bathroom.
two problems.
Yeah, but
Men can only have one problem. Women can have two.
yeah, but even though
That's true.
they can't have two problems,
Two
it's
is
always
true.
just
One is fun.
the one problem, which is the second problem, if you know what I mean.
I know what you mean,
Because that's
but-
what causes the biggest problem in all bathrooms,
I
men or women.
understand.
It's always a doo-doo problem.
Yes.
It's never.
Could be a tampon problem.
Stop!
Clogging up the toilet.
Rarely a problem that's that people feel they need to report. The doo-doo problem they need to report as quick as possible.
Well, because they got to
Report
do
doo-doo.
Because they got to do.
Yeah, I think they feel like it's more serious.
Okay,
but-
continue,
okay,
sir. So
sorry.
the lady comes down. You're at the desk. She's like, hey, there's a problem at the 3rd floor ladies' bathroom. You know what it is. And then she says, hey, you need to get up there and check it out. And you're like, all right.
So I go up there, I put the out of order sign on the door, and I walk in there. I start looking around, and nothing looks out of the ordinary. I look in all the stalls, and then I get to the last stall, and I look in there, and I saw the biggest turd that I've ever seen in my life.
Well, wait a
It
minute.
was-
That's not a problem, though. That lady should have flushed it. Hold on. That lady.
Well, didn't it?
No.
It wouldn't.
Oh.
So this turd was one giant solid lump, and it was the size of a Coca-Cola can. Like
No.
a 12-ounce Coca-Cola can.
That's not my. That's,
Oh, yeah.
that's called the Maisie
There
Dennis.
I like it being
There
described
was
as
no
Sounds
way
girthy.
to flush it. It could not be flushed. There was no
Yeah.
way
It
around
was like
and
the
I could not
size
believe
of
that
an
came out of-
Arizona iced tea, 99 cent. The big tall boy.
Yeah.
The
No, it was
tall
amazing.
Arizona 99 cent.
They got some balls printing that on the can
Yeah.
because you're like, but this could go up. But
You
they're
know,
like, nope,
99 cents.
That's a lot of.
Santitos did that too. They used
Yeah,
to do
they
one.
changed
It
it,
used to be
though.
99 cents. That was 129. Now it's 229. Now it's 3.99. Oh, you know what? I'm just gonna buy Tostitos now, Santitas. You know what? You've priced me out.
So what did you do, sir?
Priced me out.
Well, this was before smartphones, so I couldn't take a picture of it. So I went
That
back
was your
down
first
to the
thought?
front
Oh my
desk
God!
and
Your first thought was World Star of Turds.
That's a guy for you.
I got the rest of my coworkers, and we all went back up there, and I showed
Oh,
it to
my
them.
We all
and
gathered
they could not
around.
Come
believe
look
it.
at this
Yeah,
thing.
and then we high fived.
But it wouldn't flush. There was nothing we could do to get it to flush. So eventually, we put all our heads together, and we decided to get a pencil. And one of my coworkers had to break it up with a pencil.
That's too
Oh.
small. That's too close. Proximity. No, you could have found
You
something.
gotta fast stab it. I got a pencil
No.
right here. So you take a pencil.
You
Look
need
at
a
me.
meter-long rule.
No, you fast stab it. No, you fast stab it with a pencil. You wrap your hand in toilet paper.
No.
You
come on.
hold the pencil with your mummy
Yeah, yeah.
hand, and you go.
Stab a Coca-Cola turd? No.
They call it the doo-doo tattoo.
Tattoo.
Why did they agree to do that? Because I feel like if you worked at the library
You guys
night
are
shift,
a bunch of F-offs.
you're like, I'm not doing that. Let's leave that up to management and a janitor of some sort. Like, I'm just
Yeah,
here
yeah.
as a student. I work at the library.
Yeah.
This is not in my job description.
I would just keep flushing it until it like exploded
No, no.
or something. You know, like doesn't it disintegrate? Most of them, if they
There was
retain,
no flush in this thing.
it's
it was
not
rock hard,
no, but
too.
it's
I mean-
not a
It's rock
stone.
hard?
It's not a stone.
Yeah,
If it absorbs
eventually.
enough water, it will explode. Because my
okay.
daughter will do these
Person
big.
was really dehydrated.
Maisie will leave big Arizonas, and I'll walk in there and I'll be like, "How long's that Arizona been sitting?" And it's been sitting. This big 99 cent Arizona's been sitting for 2 days, and then you flush it, and it literally explodes.
I remember, so the person agreed to do this because when I started working at Champ Sports, I was the stock boy.
You were the pencil stabber.
And then the manager tried to tell me that the stock boy was in charge of cleaning the bathroom.
That's true.
And I was like, I will not do that. Because I just said, there's other jobs. I work hard back here. Like, I do a good job. I'm not cleaning the bathroom. No, thank you. And then they were like, all right. And they just got some other person to do it.
Yeah.
And that's what I learned. Like, you can say no to your
Yeah.
boss.
There will be somebody who does it.
Because guess what? They're not going to fire you for that, and they know in the back of their head that this is too much to ask you anyway. Like, they know. Like, they feel bad for asking you.
Yeah.
They know how much you get
You just
paid.
got to say it confidently.
We had a strong sense of duty for our job.
All of this for the setup for that. All of this for that. You know what? Well done, sir. Well
Yeah.
done.
Do you want a straw hat for your
Keep
trouble?
up the great work.
Do you want
yes.
to? Hey,
I
do you want
Thank
to?
you.
Do you want a straw hat?
I do.
All
Okay.
right.
Well, then email show@tomandan.com. Email your address and
Tell us
and,
your
and a
doo-doo
picture
tattoo.
of your hand holding a pencil. All right. Bye.
See ya.
Thanks for all of your content. We appreciate you.
Oh,
No
thank you,
problem.
man. Love you too. Be good. What a
He
nice
started
man.
out really nervous, and then
No, we
Yeah,
calmed
you're
him down.
eased right
We have
into
that
the-
effect on people. I think it's by chirping. I think I calm people down because they're like, man, that guy's like trying to make people comfortable. Did I make you uncomfortable the other day at Publix when I chirped up to almost everybody in there? I was like dancing through the aisles, and I'm like, hey there, Maddie. How you doing? How the
No.
kids? Hey there, Bob. Hey, Billy.
No, I
Hey,
ignore
little
that.
Joe. How's
you
your
just
wife
ignore it?
doing?
Oh.
How's her melanoma? Better? Great job.
Again, the people that chirp back to you, I think they are other chirpers. They like it. It makes me
Yeah,
uncomfortable
yeah.
when you're chirping at the person that I look in their eyes. I'm like, this person does not. They hate their
But
life.
I don't think that happens very often.
It doesn't.
I don't
because
think. I think
you
I'm a good chirper. I'm a sniper chirper.
You get into the work mode and you're like, I have to pretend.
I'm
to be...
I'm a sniper chirper. Who's
No.
that guy that was killed at the gun range? I'm like that guy.
No, come on.
There's been quite a few of
I'm
those.
I'm the last chirper. I'm like there's something.
Come
yeah,
on.
I don't know. That was a tragic story.
So
really sad.
Back to Loose Black. It's interesting to me when you get to a point in your career at 72 years old that you still like, and I know he took a break, and this, I looked at some of his stand up about like this particular tour, and he talks a lot about like doing nothing for so long during COVID and stuff.
It was driving me crazy.
So I understand he probably had a long break, and then he now this is his first big tour probably after COVID, but he's still doing it, and like you said, it's take a month off, and then he's gonna hit it again.
Yeah, I feel like he's never not touring.
That's what these guys do.
Keeps him alive.
Now,
it also keeps him young. I mean, does he sound old to you guys?
But also,
not to me.
We all currently, my mindset at 40 is looking at 72. Like, I hope to not be working then, but I think by the time you get there, there's nothing else to do.
Working,
well, there's nothing. You want to keep working. You want to keep busy because what else? What the hell else are you gonna do?
Like,
sit down and
He's not married. He doesn't have kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You just traveling the world meeting people.
And even if you did have kids
Taking
and
photos.
your grandkids, like, you see, even if like you're an active grandparent and you see your grandkids, twice a month, still gives you a lot of free time to work. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is you gonna do?
The term active shooter has ruined the term active grandpa. Because when you said, what if you're an active grandfather? I'm like, where? I got scared for a second.
Yeah. I think about that, like how active of a grandparent.
I'm already inactive at 46. Like I can barely walk. Like it's no BS.
No,
I kind of wanted to ask
physically.
him, but then I was like, I don't know, maybe that's a bad thing to bring up. But he was married once.
I was married
for
once
10 months, and then never got married again.
How old?
26.
That must have been. You had enough. 10 months.
Because it's not like he was like super young either. You're almost 30.
You know what?
It's not like you're 19.
I could be married to Andrea for 10 months and still have Maisie and get about what I get out of it now. 10 months is about all you need, I feel.
I feel like certain people in this world that once they pass like a point of no return, that they're never going to get married.
Yeah.
My buddy Logic Man, which I was talking to you guys about before this, like...
Yeah, some people just don't want to get married. I get it, but it's just... odd.
I feel like at his age, and he's been so set in his ways now, in his logic ways and the way he lives his life, that adding another person to this is virtually impossible. Because
does he get in relationships at all, or he just hooks up?
He gets in relationships and
there's feelings involved and stuff, but it's just.
Well, I think the ultimate problem is that you end up in a relationship. You have to compromise,
Yeah.
and then you have to not do things a certain way. And then maybe like, hey, not mention your feelings or not mention how this bothers you or like, do things their way. There's for sure a compromise that you hold your tongue, and then after years of grinding you down,
you don't care anymore.
You just are numb to it. And then you're just like, well, I'm not happy, but I'll just sit here. I think.
You're right.
Right.
You're
I'm
right.
just messing around.
I mean, if we go backward,
but
you're right. If we back into what we were talking about, Lewis, I think it complicates things, right? I mean, like what he's got now, and the way he has it figured out, and the way he gets to perform and write, and be in a tour bus and tour. It's very comfortable. It's very organized. He is the owner of it. He commands it.
It's still work though.
Like tons of work.
Because like with all these shows, like he still has to do media to promote, right? And then his stand up, like you get that down pretty well, right? But then all the other stuff, like I was talking to someone, it may not seem like work if we do an appearance or something, right? But the behind the scenes of it, like, oh yeah, I want this appearance to go well. I need to promote it.
I think it's the hardest thing we do.
This
is to me where we are at ease. Like in here we control it. We're talking to celebrities. We're doing the show. We're entertaining. When we do the events, there's so many other variables that it's just so much more difficult, I feel like.
So then, and you forget about all the behind-the-scenes work and energy it takes to do it. So, like, even when it's set in motion. He's got people. He's got booking agents. Like, all of his whole tour is already set and stuff. But he gets the emails from, like, Hard Rock or some other venue he's playing where it's like, hey, we're, we need 25% more tickets till we hit our goal, and then so it's like, all right, I got to do some extra media in this town, and it's like it's a grind, right?
People don't realize that venues do tell you if you're not selling.
Yeah, and then so you do that. Not that he needs help.
No,
but
but that's the way the business
But
works.
so then it's like, then you gotta get on the airplane and fly to Orlando, then check into your hotel, and then you have to get up the next morning and find like hopefully they have free breakfast. Like all these little things, a pain in the ass, like for a 72-year-old man to go through.
Yeah.
And then you would think, like I'm thinking in my mind, like I don't want to do this anymore. Like I just want to do something I want to do instead of like, but maybe that he wants to do it. And that's fascinating to me because you want to work.
I think he definitely does.
Yeah.
He seems like a workaholic.
And I think as you get older, I think you realize that the work is part of the equation to keep you alive.
I think what else is it
I will be one of those people. You know, I mean, I enjoy.
Yeah, but you enjoy doing the things you enjoy. But I don't think you'll be hitting doing appearances, stuff like that. When you're things that you don't want to do necessarily. Not that you don't want to do appearances, but like.
No, I know what you mean.
Like all the events and stuff, like all that is encompassed with this job.
Yeah,
and
but
it's
I like these.
Yeah.
I'm saying those are more difficult, but I still like them.
Yeah.
You
But
know.
it's like I'm trying to think of the things you don't like to do. There's got to be elements of the job. Like for me, it's there are certain elements of looking at like all the advertisers we have, making sure they are going through every single one, making sure they all have the right amount of love. And
well, maybe we'll have people to do that.
And then
so we still get to do the stuff that's fun because it looks like he does have a good team. Like, it looks like he has, like, from what I can, like, I'm sure he'd be very honest about this. He doesn't seem like the type of person to hide anything. But it seems like he has a couple of dudes, 2 or 3 that travel with him. It looks like he has a merch guy. It looks like he has a filming, like a social media guy. And it looks like maybe he has an assistant. And they have a drone because he's always doing a shot of him in front of his bus. He does the middle finger. Drone flies straight up in the air, does a backdrop of this beautiful area of where he's at. It's a brilliant idea, by the way. Then he prints out all the different cities and where they're going, where you can find them, or maybe he says, welcome to Lexington, Kentucky, or something. It's really well done, though.
Yeah, but even with that drone shot, that means someone's texting you, his guy. He's like, hey, come outside the bus. We need to get this drone footage. You need to stand there for half an hour. But you, like, even when
not even a half an hour, 35 seconds.
But I think it's longer than that. You know these camera guys. They're like, hey, we need this shot.
This looks very... like easy breezy. It does.
Well, like when we were doing our BDM event, when our camera guy's like, "Hey, I need you to do this," you're like, "Oh, God damn it, I don't want to do it."
But he's not speaking. It's him standing there.
Yeah.
It's a drone shot. It's just him looking into the camera. He gives a middle finger. The drone goes straight up. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the only shot. Like the one that most of our guys are like, "Okay, you're Dan. This is the beginning of the beer fest. I need you to be energetic." I'm like, "Oh God."
Yeah. But I'm sure Lewis Black probably doesn't want to. He probably told him like, I'm not speaking. I'll do the middle finger, and you can get this. But he still has to go outside the bus, stand there. They have to get the lighting right. It's all a micro grind that it amazes me.
Micro grind. I like write that down.
People are still like he's willing to still do at his age.
I'm looking at his merch because he had a Lewis Black Friday deal.
Yeah, I want that Stay Negative shirt.
His anger button is literally just like our old man button.
It's a little skinnier though. It would fit under your. I might pick it up for your windowsill.
I think it yells obscenities though. So
we wouldn't be able to use it. He has a bobblehead. He's got a shirt that says "Stay Negative." That's
How
awesome.
have we never done bobbleheads yet?
They're expensive, dude. I looked into it.
Yeah,
really expensive. That initial mold. Oh, that initial mold. You gotta have some monies.
And it's one of those things where, okay, they're $13 to make individually if you order 1,000 of them, right?
Yeah.
So then
and then we can't push 1,000 bobbleheads.
Then we spent $13,000 on bobbleheads, and Eric's got them in his living room because we don't have space for them.
If you order 100 of them, they're $26.
Yeah.
And then so now you got to sell the bobblehead with shipping and everything for $35.
And who wants to buy that?
Yeah, exactly. They're selling a $35 bobblehead.
Norm said he's good for $5.
Well, if you guys, I'll revisit it again if you guys want bobbleheads.
Yeah, so then to make any profit...
Wait, we don't know a guy with a 3D printer that can make us bobbleheads?
No, 3D printed is like, guess what? I bought one.
Yeah?
Yeah. I bought one for May. That was what she wanted.
But it's that kid's one, right?
Yeah, it's the toy box one. The toy box one that makes like all the, like, it's got the most support. And that was my, like, when I did all the research, like, and if you're doing these things, this is just how I usually shop for these type of items, not to pivot all over the blanking place. But you got to get the one that has the most support. and has the most back end. Like people using it. Like if you can't get the best. If you get the best, you're just going to be on your own, right? And I don't know my ass from a hole in the wall when it comes to this, right? So you got to get the one that's like rudimentary. Tons of people using it, industry standard. So we got the toy box one. It wasn't that bad. They had an awesome man. I did good on Black Friday sales this year, especially those.
I didn't look at any damn deals
Dick's
at all.
Sporting Goods, man. Dick's Sporting Goods has lost their mind. It made me think they're going out of business.
Is the sale real? Like, or can you find that same sale at a different time? Like, will they
probably at a different time? Yeah,
you know, but like because that's I would use Black Friday.
Yeah, it's all marketing.
But I feel like they're just marking it down
Memorial
from the,
Day sale, and
from
it's
the
like
MSRP.
Same thing.
You know, so like, are you actually saving by buying that weekend or the Black Friday?
We did,
sale?
and I'll tell you why. So my daughter wants. She won't listen to this. My daughter wants new skates. That's one of the items on there.
Oh,
but
we could have grabbed her a pair yesterday.
I know, right? There were like 1,000 pairs of skates. But like they're expensive. So and she wants real ones. She's kind of outgrown her. Like she had a pair of kid skates. They're good, you know. But now she wants like real skates. So we wanted to get her like a brand that like we could like buy wheels for, that you can buy parts for,
Yeah,
right?
customize.
Like K2. So and Andrea actually used to have a pair of K2s. So we were searching for it, and we went on the Dick's website, and they had them for like 50% off because they're changing models. It's kind of like what you used to do with snowboard boots. You wait for the ones that are old, and you get up to the time, and then you go like, who cares? Like, because she doesn't care about, you know, any, she doesn't skate professionally. So, but it was like, we got a pair of $100 and some odd skates for like $50. Like way cheap.
Nice.
Like way better deal. Now, will they do that again throughout the year? Probably. But this one worked out because we just looked up the model numbers. And we knew that this was like these are 2020s, actually. They're 2 years old. So we were able to get them, you know, they're not the latest and greatest.
Right.
All right. We'll be back tomorrow.
No, we won't. It's
No,
Friday.
It's Friday. That's right. Okay.
You want to do that again?
Yeah.
Hold on. 3, 2.
We'll see you next week.
All right, gotcha.
Okie dokie.
Good job, buddy. What's later? What do we have later?
We're not recording later.
Oh, we're not.
No.
I mean, we got to, because we have to finish Thursday. We only have 1 and 2 for Thursday.
Yeah, that's all. Remember the second best of.
Yeah,
Totally forgot.
Right.
Totally forgot.
Yes, so did I. This was
Friday 1 and 2.
Friday 1 and 2. Yep. Come here.
Funny that he brought up meth, and it's National Methamphetamine Awareness Day.
Really?
Forgot I put that up there.
I'll need intros, though.
Yep. We'll do it right now. He was very nice. Twitch. We'll see you tomorrow, y'all.
See you, Twitch.